excited to have the entire crew in from Wild Cub today. Welcome.
Hey, thank you for having us.
So, I should get all the important stuff out of the way. First, you guys playing tonight at the Black Sheep, 7 o'clock. Ticket links, details online, 1039rxp.com. We'll get that out of the way first. I was doing all my reading because I like to research.
Okay, good.
That's kind of my thing.
Good.
What takes somebody from Brooklyn to Nashville, and what was the catalyst for just going, yep, the promotion sounds good, and the pay's good, although I could never quite find what you had been doing.
Yeah.
And just go, you know what, screw it. I'm checking it all, I'm going to Nashville, and I'm devoting myself to this 100%.
Well, I think that, Brooklyn is an incredible place. I was there for 9 years and really loved it. But like you said, the tough thing is that you really spend a large amount of your time figuring out how to afford to live there, And you kind of look, at least for me, I was looking around at everybody, and nobody was actually getting to do what they really wanted to do. They were kind of always in the process of, one day about to do that thing because they were having to dedicate so much time,
right.
Unless they had a trust fund, which was good for them, but
I
wasn't coming from that place.
Luxury.
Yeah, so for me, I just kind of looked at it and said, like, listen, there's only so much time that you can kind of be doing this full time until it starts to become weird and sad, and you're like that 55-year-old guy just geeking out at the clubs. No offense to 55-year-olds, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
So anyways, that's when I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to go to Nashville. And the great thing about Nashville is that Nashville has an incredible music industry there, so it's like still very connected, still a lot of stuff going on. At the time, it was really turning over and becoming a lot more interesting, and a lot less just about writing songs for other big country artists and so on and so forth, and all these little bands were popping up. And so moving there just allowed me to give 110% of myself to making music.
It is funny to hear you say that, because I worked country music before this for a number of years, and I remember we interviewed Dierks Bentley, and he's the one that's like, if you have not heard of Kings of Leon yet, you've got to listen to these guys. And that's almost 10 years ago. So It's funny that people have this association that it's all Johnny Cash and
especially now,
all
music
this, that, and the
changed,
other. But yeah, it's very different. And do you feel that that is a better organic home base as opposed to the factory that you hear LA is, the factory that you kind of hear things in New York can be for what you're doing?
Yeah, I think that the great thing that Nashville has especially is this huge long lineage of songwriting, really great songwriting. And if there's anything that there's a shortage of, especially right now in popular music when it's so kind of like EDM oriented or more like club oriented, it's tough to find songs. And so I feel like hopefully that's something that we've been able to take, although we don't make traditional Nashville music, we've been able to kind of string along some of that, which is writing songs.
What is, because I love to ask everybody this, I'm not musically inclined, so what is the songwriting process like for you? Because we had Ms. Mister in, and I love what they do. So I was so excited because I've connected with this song. They're like, oh no, we just throw some weird stuff together that we got on Instagram, struck me, or this or that. And I was like, oh, it's not like poetry for you guys. Okay, that's a different way to do it. But
well, I feel like it's
yeah,
it's poetry, but in a different kind of way. It's like I enjoy it that it's almost like painting or something that you get to work in a broader spectrum of it. You can build, you figure out different ways to do things emotionally. Like for me, I came from a place where initially I was a singer-songwriter, so you sit down and the challenge is you have to be able to play it on an acoustic guitar at any moment at any location, pretty much. So by doing Wild Cub, it gave us this opportunity to go, well, what if we just build a song from a bass line and then build drums and then let a film or poetry or something more abstract influence the lyrics and let them not be so linear and so kind of strictly narrative. So
that's interesting, because it's been fun to ask everybody the same question and get all the different answers and see the different products and be able to hear them. So I love that. Well, let's do this. We got commercials that we've got to play in order to keep the electricity on and all that good stuff. So what are you guys going to play for us? Let's do that to take it into break.
We're going to do 2 songs. This first one here is going to be called Color.
Excellent. I'm going to pot the correct stuff up and pot the other down. It's Wild Cub in studio here on the Alternative RXP 1039.
Boy.
Wild Cub in studio with me. We'll come back with more from them next here on the Alternative RXP 103.9. Where we are back, I have Wild Cub with me in studio. I was trying to get everybody's names right. So Keegan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Jeremy.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. And now my computer dies out where I've written everybody's names down.
I can just tell you, that's Dabney over there on the
Dabney, I
drums.
love your name, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Harry, a much less interesting name, but
Hi, Harry.
really
That's
interesting
sweet.
guy.
That's
He's
sweet.
on
it's
Facebook.
Harrison, though.
Harrison, yeah, sorry. And then we got Eric back here.
Hey!
He's tucked in the corner.
What is it? I'm an only child, so the idea of touring in a bus, a van, or anything with a large number of people and no downtime just is my version of hellacious, even though you're doing what you absolutely love.
Yeah.
How do you guys keep it together and keep it pleasant?
You know, I don't know if we figure out. Well, I mean, I thought that. Well, I was reading this interview with this great band called Warpaint.
Oh, I just played them.
Yeah, they're
I
like
love
one of our
them,
favorite bands. But so I thought that they put it really well, which they're like, you have to be able to let people have their time when they want to have their time, and be able to take your time when you have. You know what I mean? It's like respecting everybody's boundaries, and just like you kind of learn how to. It's like a weird little rhythm that you go into.
I don't know how you guys do it, and still, at the end of the day, I leave here and I'm ready to go home, and I love everybody I work with, but I'm ready to go home.
It helps a lot. Like we just played this show in Houston that was this crazy sold out show. Probably one of the funnest shows we've ever had, and that was one of those ones where when that's over, you're like, okay, that'll last us for a couple weeks.
Nice, that's
You know?
Nice.
So you're kind of filling up the gas tank.
When you guys do get downtime, what do you guys tend to do?
On tour or when we're at home?
Both. Let's go with both.
Okay, on tour, there's always a press for baseball games because Harry and Eric are huge baseball fans.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And then at home, I think that we pride ourselves on kind of vanishing into obscurity and not seeing each other at all. Even though we all live in the same town and have the same friends, it's kind of like, we always joke because now when we get back, we're like, can't wait to see all my friends. And you're like, pretty much only have these guys as my friends anymore. I spent the last year only being with them. All my other friends have moved on. So.
Is it weird to reconnect when you come home? I mean, is that a strange way to kind of get back into things?
It's nice for me because I feel like all of us have different kind of like side projects that we do, and you get to catch up on that and feel like you start to eliminate some of the piled up paperwork, if you will, of your life.
Right.
But in general, I think it's just nice to get home because Nashville, I mean, there's a reason why we're all there, and it's because it's a really interesting, great city with a lot of awesome food and a lot of awesome people.
Yeah.
So it's nice to I mean, I feel like we have this luxury, which is, you know, I don't miss living in New York because I get to go there like 6 or 7 times a year.
Right.
But now I kind of feel that way about Nashville, where I'm like, gosh, I wouldn't mind being there a little bit more regularly. It's a pretty great town, you know.
That's nice, because so often people are just like, oh no. I love it when I hear bands come through and they're like, oh, we have to go back to LA. I'm like, yeah, I can see why you're doing exactly that. So again, Wild Cub playing tonight at the Black Sheep. Game time, 7 o'clock, as I like to say. Ticket links, details, all that good stuff, online, 1039rxp.com. Be sure to pick up their debut album. It is out in stores now. You will not be disappointed. My other quick question for you before I have you guys play one more thing, if you would, please. Already hearing talk about next album, maybe something a little different to it. Rumor true or false?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think that just in general, we built this record. This record was all of us floating around, not really, being solo artists or being producers or musicians in Nashville, and we took over Jeremy's house and kind of made it as an experiment, and it's turned out to be a really great thing for us. So.
And for all of us. As well,
yeah.
honestly.
So it'll be exciting to actually build a record the normal way, rather than have it be like this kind of crazy cluster of a bunch of hard drives and stuff like that, and especially after now a year and a half of being able to take these songs around the world, you learn so much about how to, I don't know, not how to write songs, but you learn how to reach people in different ways, and it just adds a texture that I think will be a lot more interesting now that we go back to start and do this again. But don't worry, we're going to be touring nonstop until Christmas. So that when you say talk of a next record, it's really like January.
Okay. I just want to double check on that one.
That's too early now where you're like, well, I'll be home soon. And you're like, when? And you're like, well, it's like December 20th. They're like, that's like 5 months from now.
Right?
Yeah.
It never fails. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in. This has been fun. It's so much fun to listen to a record and then have somebody come in and play live, just because it gives you a whole nother level to it that is really fun to watch. So thank you guys for that. And
Thank you.
being such good sports in here. So, Wild Cub again, tonight playing at the Black Sheep. What will you guys take us out with now?
This is Thunder Clatter.
Excellent.
1, 2, 3.
I see you getting with the night I found you. I see you separate from the others. They ain't forgetting the light around you, been inside of you. I couldn't say what I was thinking. That heart shrinking to that far shrinking in the way. One minute I had to listen to it. It was in the fall, hidden in the fall, waiting on love to call, hidden in the fall. I met you in the dead of winter. I stood stranded in the water, dug deeper than a crooked spinner. I turned away from all the others. I couldn't say what I was thinking. My heart shrinking to that far shrinking in the sun. Wait, 1 minute I had to listen for it. It was in the fall, hidden in the fall, waiting on love to call, hidden in the fall. Sad old side hidden in the tangled inside of me. You spoke that broken thunder deep into the center of me. I couldn't say what I was thinking. My heart shrinking to sad spot picking in the sun. Wait, 1 minute I had to listen for it. It was in the fall, hidden in the fall, waiting on love to call, hidden in the fall. Oh. I hear it call in the center of it all. You're the love of my life, the love of my life. I hear it all in the center of my heart. You're the love of my life, the love of my life. I hear it call in the center of it all. You're the love of my life, the love